Some may say I'm too vulnerable, I'm too expressive, I'm too much into my feelings and thoughts. But you know what? Everyone has their way of healing, and this is mine. A lot of us are too fearful to be real, but don't. Don't allow other people's opinions to stop your healing and your growth process. Don't allow others to silence you. And with that being said, thank you for listening to my vulnerable conversation on the balancing act. There are no edits and no scripts, laughs, tears, and real talk. This is an episode I call My Voice Journal, the words we tell ourselves. Hello everyone, I am back. I just wanted to do a quick voice journal and let you guys know what I've been up to. I know I've been MIA, but it was for a very good reason. I haven't been able to record much in a long time. However, I have been utilizing the Clubhouse app very, very often. So I have been speaking on there. And if you're not following me on Clubhouse, you should be, because it's very interesting. These rooms that I get on stage and speak a little something, it's very meaningful. As most of you know, I'm a mental health advocate, a radio host, a podcaster, a mom, and so many other hats that I wear. But I have been able to take this time to really spread awareness about mental health, not just in the global aspect, but in the Black community aspect. So we just came off of a 4-day global mental health summit. I've met some incredible people. We've had a bunch of various topics along the way. And it's been moving to feel like I'm not alone, not just in the journey of self-discovery and recovery, but the journey of wanting to share the message of awareness and resources when things don't always look so bright. So I was in a room today where I spoke about the mental health podcast. And one question that came up was, what challenges have you faced? Which is a great question to ask. A lot of us have gone through a number of different challenges, whether it be self-doubt, confusion, depression, feeling anxious about something, filling your head with negative thoughts. So I think in the beginning, my challenges were just that. Not allowing myself to be open, vulnerable, not giving myself grace, saying yes to everyone else and saying no to myself. So I feel the challenges have been putting others before myself. What are my dreams? What are my goals? What inspires me? What keeps me going? Those are the type of questions that I didn't ask for a long time because I doubted myself. There was a bubble of just thinking negatively that I may not be smart enough. I may not be pretty enough. I may not be able to be a good mom. Like, there was just so many different things that were in my head, especially going through depression. I've had to change my mindset completely and say that I am worthy, that I have a lot to offer, that I'm going to say no to others when I really cannot manage or balance what it is that they want me to do, because I also need to make time for myself. So as I'm sitting here, you can't see me, but I am looking at myself in the mirror. And I am saying to myself that I am worthy, I am beautiful, I am smart, I have all that God has given me. And I feel that a lot of us miss that moment where we tell ourselves that we are enough. And so I am saying to myself, looking at this mirror, looking at my reflection, saying that I am enough. So the challenge is of my own. The challenge is to overcome my thinking. The challenge is to change my mindset, change my story, know that God placed me here for a reason, and I'm living in that. As a mental health advocate, I am living in my purpose to go through the trials and tribulations of what I experienced in my life, to come out of that dark period and come into the light. A lot of times we talk about rising from the ashes, rising and exploring different things, different parts of the world. But how often are we putting forth that action to be greater than we were before? Life gives us challenges, and it's really about how you overcome those challenges to get to the other side. So I am processing a lot of the things that I didn't know, that I now know, that I wish I knew then, but I do know now. It's kind of like a tongue twister, but it's been a great journey. It's been a great journey of discovering who I am, discovering my purpose, discovering that I am enough, discovering that I am worthy and there's no perfect person. The outcome is amazing. Just having that moment to come to clarity on life. I've lost a lot of people the past 2-3 years. I have been so much more grateful for life, with news of people just dying, whether they were young or older and have lived longer than I have. It still taught me to really enjoy life and put things into a balanced perspective and understand the power of boundaries and self-care. I feel like myself and Anana Harris Paris, who is a strategic planner, but so much more, when we talked about self-care during the Global Mental Health Summit, it was such a powerful thing for us Black women to stand together or sit together or be vocal together, however you want to call it, since it was just an audio app. It was great for me to see and experience what we can do together. And so there were a lot of things that I felt would challenge us, mainly because of the time difference. We spoke at 2:30 in the morning Eastern Standard Time because it was very UK based. But the biggest part was to understand that there's more to life than constantly being there for others, especially if you're not being there for yourself. So that self-care, the boundaries, the little steps that you can take to really make time for yourself, I learned so much. I had the opportunity to get featured in the Forbes. It was a Forbes article, which is online. They didn't quote me 100%, but it was a great opportunity just to be named in that article on Forbes. However, there were so many of us women of color that were missing from that event. So myself, Anana, and a few others have decided to really form a team that is centered around Black mental health. So I don't want to give too much information away, but just know that there is support. And a lot of things that I create for myself. I create for myself, my sanity, my sister circle, my support group. a lot of things that I have experienced with mental health, I was able to heal a little better just by having peer support. So the Balancing Act, Highs, Lows, and Lessons, there is a Facebook page. You can post whatever it is that you feel. At this moment, we are posting like positive affirmations, resource information to help other people that are dealing with something that they didn't even expect. I can tell you my personal journey, and I've said this a number of times, but there was no way to tell that I was depressed. There was no way for me to say that, oh, I'm having a anxiety moment or a moment of panic or, whatever it was. I couldn't even explain it. And when you go to see your therapist, they just want to get to the root of what is going on in your life or what happened. What was that turning point? And so when I sat with my therapist, it was a lot of things that came out about my past when I was a teenager. And I don't know if you are listening and you're kind of going through something similar, but I just wanted to sleep all day, cry all night. I didn't want to be seen. I would go out with my friends occasionally, and I would smile and put on this facade as if I'm happy about everything. But inside, I felt like I was dying. Inside, I felt like, why am I here? I know I'm not happy. What is this feeling? Like, there was so many different questions. So many different things that were plagued in my head over and over and over again. To the point where I was like, something is off and I need help. So I reached out to a support group, and the title of that group was Women Experiencing Baby Blues. I had no idea what that was, but I knew I wanted to be around other women that had had a baby. So I went there. I met someone named Vanessa. She was the organizer, and she put on this video, and I just started crying because it said, "Are you feeling this way?" And I just cried because I'm like, oh my goodness. This is exactly how I'm feeling. This is exactly how I'm feeling. And in that moment, I broke down because I thought to myself, finally someone sees me, or finally someone will be able to help me and guide me through this process. So after seeing that video, Vanessa gave me a number and a location. And I called the number right away. Well, the next day, because it was it was after 5. But I called the number and I spoke to Jody. Obviously, I spoke to the receptionist, but I spoke with Jody, my therapist, and she saved my life. She put things into perspective that I never thought that I would be able to understand, because a lot of times you meet with a therapist and they start speaking this language that you're like, what are you saying? But she put things into perspective. We had a family counseling session with her, and thereafter it was just she and I there. I would go there every Friday or every other Friday and just talk and talk and talk. We would be in there for an hour, and I just know I knew an hour was not long enough. But I took that hour, and she, does what a therapist does. They write things down, and I just felt like she was so insensitive. I'm like, you're so insensitive because, I'm over here crying. You're the one that's asking me these questions, and you're getting to the root of the problem, and you're not even crying with me. Like, just so many different things. And she saved my life. She saved my life. She saved my life. And I say that because I had been battling with so many different things that I didn't even remember. So she tapped into that memory bank that I was housing in the pocket of hurt in my heart, and in the shame, and just so many different things. And I'm just like, wow, I didn't even know that I was still holding on to this. And so that's why I say she saved my life. She gave me the ability to cut out the BS that was still plaguing in my heart, that was still there, holding on for dear life, hoping that it would be able to stay there and make my heart turn from gold to rotten. And it never took over me. Like, it did, but it didn't take over my entire heart, where I became this cold, distant person that didn't want to live anymore. I wanted to live after that. After meeting Jody, I wanted to live. Like, not even just live, but I wanted to prosper. And there was a change, there was a shift where I was like, I want to live, and I just want to say to everybody who said I wasn't going to make it, I wasn't going to amount to anything, I'm going to show you. And if I don't show you, then I'm going to tell you in the power of my voice. And I started my podcast as soon as I healed myself enough to have the ability to come out of the dark and go into the light and start speaking my truth. And now it has no hold on me. So I am not ashamed. I am worthy. And I have been worthy. I just didn't know it then, but I know it now. And so now I can speak to women, men, and even my own children and tell them that they are worthy, that they are enough. Cut out all the BS and know that you are powerful. You are kings and queens walking this earth, and you have the ability to be powerful and change lives with the power of your voice and just the unity that is in your mind and your heart, and the things that you see can be unseen and unlearned if it's something that's negative. Because I was negative. I mean, even one of my coworkers reached out to me and she said, "You have become so positive." And I didn't even realize that I was negative. I didn't realize it. I didn't see that side of me. I was like, wow, I'm the most positive person I've ever met. But others will see things in you that you may not even see in yourself. And it took me a long time to realize that some people have the ability to see you, to see through you. And it's usually the people who love and care about you the most. And if you don't care about yourself, you are not going to see it. And I didn't care about myself enough to see it. So it took someone else to see it. And then I had to heal from it. And then I had to be vocal about it. And then I have to help others the way Jody helped me. So I say all of this to say, find your voice. Look at the challenge as not a challenge that you can't come through, that you can't come back from. It's a challenge for the moment, but it doesn't have to be a lifetime. And so I hope that this voice journal has given you some sense of clarity about me and about yourself and your worthiness. Because again, I did not feel worthy. And I stumbled a few times, but I get back up every time. I get back up stronger. I get back up a more better believer. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, but you know what? This is Voice Journals. And I'm just coming to you raw and live. I know I've cried a few times, but I think that's the power of just being vocal, the power of just being able to be vulnerable. Brene Brown said that there is strength in your vulnerability. And I believe that wholeheartedly. I believe that we have the power to change our minds. We have the ability to change hearts of people. When they see that you are at your most vulnerable and raw self and being authentic, I feel that there's so much power in that. There's so much light in that people will have no choice but to accept you and understand your story and know where you're coming from and feel that passion and drive in your heart. And they'll want to be around you and in your circle without bringing you down, but also bringing you up. So I hope that you see a day. If you're having a bad day, realize that it's a bad moment, because every moment can be changed. You don't know what tomorrow brings. So cherish today. Cherish that moment. Like if you ask someone, how are you doing today? They'll probably automatically just tell you, oh, I'm doing good. I'm doing great. But you could also ask, like, what was the best part of your day? And honestly, the best part of my day is speaking to you all and know that you all are listening and know that someone is healing in this moment of my vulnerability. Someone is healing because they came to this channel and they wanted to hear something that was uplifting, maybe. Or they just wanted to listen because I have a really great voice, I've been told. So, I mean, just know that you have support. And just know that I am here. I am alive. I am breathing. I am great. I am worthy. Those challenges are small challenges. They're not big challenges. They're just small challenges. And we can overcome those challenges. It's all about mindset. It's all about mindset. What are you telling yourself? What positive things are you telling yourself? What positive affirmations are you saying or have written? You know, a lot of people do vision boards every year. And majority of it is material things. I want to be of sound mind, body, and soul. Like, I want those things to be aligned. I want on my vision board a brain, because that's where it starts. The mindset, it starts in the mind. All the other stuff will come. The money or the riches, the financial, the financial whatever it is, the finance part will come. I mean, you can't take your money with you. And I'm not saying that people don't need money. I'm just saying the first initial thought, to me, logically, is in the brain. It starts in the mind. Your mind, your heart, your soul. Who are you as a person? The finances can come. But if your mind isn't right, what are you going to do with the money? Because let's say you win the lotto or whatever it is, you come into inheritance and it's worth $100 million. Now you have all this money, but what does your mind say? What does your heart say? You have all this money, but your mind isn't right. So now you go out and splurge. Your heart isn't right. Now you're not even given to charity or to people who are less fortunate. Your soul is tainted. Like there's just so many things, and I can go on and on and on. But I'm going to end it by saying, change your mindset. Wake up in the morning before you start your day and just say some kind words to yourself in the morning. Some people say that the most confident people are arrogant, which is not true. They are just confident about themselves, and they have to be that way for a certain reason. Like, I have to wake up in the morning and say, I am worthy, I am enough. And then I have to go to sleep and say, I am worthy, I am enough. It's all about the mindset. And even with my children, they have to build their confidence. So if I'm not confident about myself, I can't teach my kids to be confident about themselves. If my mind isn't right, I can't teach them how to get their mind right. It's all about that generational thought process. Whether you're thinking of generational wealth or you're thinking of generational mental health. Either way, there is such thing as generational trauma. And it's like you're going from the parents' trauma to the children's trauma to the children's trauma, and it just keeps going like a never-ending cycle. So we have to be kind to ourselves. We have to uplift ourselves. We have to journal write and do things that are going to make us feel better. So that way we can transfer that energy to help others get better. And as a mental health advocate, that is my goal. That is my mission, to empower young men, women, everybody, all nations, to just be better human beings, to take care of yourself, to know that it's okay to unlearn what you have been taught. If you have been taught to be silent, you can unlearn it. Trust me, in the Black community, we have a lot of different sayings when it comes to being vocal about certain challenges in our lives. It's either pray it away, give it to God, or something else, like what happens in this house stays in this house and nobody should know your business. But how do you help somebody heal when they don't even know your story? A lot of times that was the missing component with my therapist. I shared so much of myself and she shared nothing of her. And it's not to say it's not a knock, but I'm saying if she shared a little bit of herself, then I probably would have continued that process. But often, even in a relationship, we're sharing so much of ourselves, but what is our partner sharing with us? So, with that said, I am going to say thank you for listening to Voice Journal. This is actually my first voice journal on the Balancing Act, which is pretty cool. But we are planning another global mental health summit in April. And we're also doing the Black mental health community. So I would strongly suggest that you continue listening to this podcast and also continue to support on Facebook. There is a Facebook group, which is called The Balancing Act, Highs, Lows, and Lessons. And you'll see that it's like work-life balance. And there are resources available for people who need it. And I always like the interaction part. So definitely, if there's something that you would like to share, an episode that you would like to be on, this is why I'm here. So feel free to reach out. Feel free to connect with me on Instagram at NikkiMarie_radio. And thank you for listening to this voice journal episode. I appreciate a lot of people. There's so many people that I could thank, but I'm just going to say thank you to all who are listening, who continue to listen, who continue to support and share this episode or this podcast, and all of the people who I've had the pleasure of interviewing on a number of different episodes. I also have an episode coming tomorrow. I will be airing that episode with Dominique Clark, who is a wonderful woman, and she is working on a media company, or she has a media company called Ben Worthy. And that's also another reason why I wanted to do this episode, because after speaking with her, it really set the tone of that been worthy. Like, you've been worthy. Like, you were always worthy, but I don't know, maybe you just didn't realize it. So she's going to explain what she means by been worthy, what that means to her, and what she has coming this month for Women's History Month. I'm so excited. Yes. And then my birthday is next month. Wow. Time flies. Time is flying. So take care of each other. Take care of yourselves, more importantly, and continue to listen, love, like, share, and have a wonderful day, my beautiful people.
If you got willpower, if you have desire, you got drive, you can do anything. You may fail a couple times, it may not be easy, because not everything is, everything good is not necessarily meant to be easy. But when I see stuff like that, and I see stories like that, and I see women overcoming obstacles and still showing up time and time again, that's empowering to me. So the general message is that, hey girl, you've been worthy. Now go out there and act accordingly.